Nama Om Vishnu Vedaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharini Nivashesha Shunyavadi Praskachai Desatarine Vanchakalpatarubhya Sakripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavane Bhyo Vaishnavi Namo Namaha Chaitanya Charitambo Jamukundalayo Vijay Isham Prashadam Achana Paramapayam. So we're reading from the Manah Siksha, verse number 1. There are two very important scriptures which are very small, in other words, just a few verses. So this is Rupa Goswami's Upadhasamrita, in English, Nectar of Instruction, and Raghunath Das Goswami, his Manah Siksha. Both are very important. Both we should read at least once a year. Prabhupada chose to translate Rupa Goswami's Sri Upadhasamrita, Nectar of Instruction, with commentary by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta and his own commentary, in preference to Manah Siksha. One reason is that Manah Siksha is actually for a more elevated audience. So in other words, to understand Manah Siksha, you need a higher adhikari. Adhikari means qualification. Whereas Upadhasamrita also is verse 8 is spontaneous devotional service, Raganuga Sadhana Bhakti or Kevala Bhakti, and verses 9, 10 and 11 are residing at Radhakund. Very, very exalted instructions. But the first 7 verses are slightly more general, especially the first 4. Therefore, Prabhupada printed or had published in 1975 Nectar of Instruction. Originally, they printed 10,000. Then Rameshwara Maharaj informed Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said no. Rameshwara was thinking it's only for devotees. It's a little intimate, especially those last 4 verses. But Prabhupada said, no, print 100,000. This is according to Hari Sori's Transcendental Diary. So they printed 100,000, and of course many reprints have been done since then. So Nectar Instruction, very important. But Manah Siksha is a little step more. So I remember, I've explained this before, I came to South Africa in 1974, and then I was staying in Durban for the Krishastami festivals. At that time, we went to a few programs and the marquee blew down. That was in Reservoir Hills. And then we finished the program at Ashoka Hotel. That's how I got to know Bhagwan Dean's Railway Hotel. And the mother actually, in the end, became my disciple. She's departed, but she became a grand disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And I made her a life member and her husband. They lived in Saunders Avenue in the Sapingo Hills. And that brother ran Railway Hotel, where we did many Krishastamis, 1974, 75. So at that time, we left Durban. So this would have been after Krishastami, windy months. So perhaps September, October, when we went to Maritzburg, Escort, Ladysmith, Newcastle, Bethel, Standerton, and eventually Pretoria, Lodium. So as we were traveling, Pusta Krishna Maharaj, who was the GBC at that time, was reading from unpublished, I think unedited, manuscripts of the Nectar of Instruction. and every day we would do one verse. Verse 1, verse 2, verse 3, up to verse 5 or 6. So that was before it was published. So Nectar of Instruction has a very special place in my heart. So we're reading now, of course, from Manah Siksha. So verse 1 again, for purification, we'll say it in the original Sanskrit. Gurave Goshte Gostalaishu Sujana Varasaragana Swamantra Shri Namni Brajanava Yuva Dvandva Sarana Sanda Sada Dambit Dambam Hitva Kuru Ratim Apuravam Rati Titaram Ayi Swanta Bharaktas Chatubir Abhiyase Drita Pade. O dear brother, O mind, having given up all pride, pride, please develop unprecedented and excessive attachment, apurvam, unprecedented and excessive attachment to the following: Sri Guru, to Vrindavan, to the abode of cows, to the devotee residents of Vrindavan, to all the devotees on this planet, to the confidential mantra, swamantra, given by Guru, to the holy name, Sri Nam, and to the process of surrendering to the fresh, youthful couple of Braj, holding your feet, I beseech you with sweet words. So it's a plea to the mind. The mind can be our worst enemy, can be our best friend. The whole system of yoga, whichever practice of yoga we attempt to practice, Ashtanga yoga, whatever, it's to steady the mind, it's to control the mind, to focus the mind. And what do we try to focus it on? It could be Vaikuntha, it could be Lord Nrsingadev, it could be Ramchandra, it could be Krishna four-handed, Chatuvayu, four-handed in Dwaka. But Raghunath Das Goswami is a resident of Vrindavan, and that's where his eternal service is as a follower of Radharani. Raghunath Das Goswami is generally referred to as Rati Manjari or sometimes Tulsi Manjari. So Manah Siksha, right from the first verse, is emphasizing Vrindavan. So we focus the mind on Vrindavan. You can't. To absorb the mind in something higher, Paramdrisana Vatante, you focus it on Vrindavan and pastimes, Nam, Rup, Boon, Leela of Krishna in Vrindavan, then lesser thoughts won't come. You won't think so much about COVID-19 and the riots and politics, etc. So, O mind, give up all pride, damba, and develop unprecedented, excessive attachment to Sri Guru. So, guru-tattva, this is what I'm going to talk about today. Guru-tattva is complex and is very deep. It is said that there are two types of gurus. The initiating guru, that's Diksha Guru, and the instructing guru, Siksha Guru. But it's also said there's four types: Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru, Avatma Pradapchika Guru, and Cheta Guru. Avatma Pradapchika Guru is that guru, or that Vaishnava who originally introduced you to Krishna consciousness. Like for myself, I have 3 or 4 Vatma Pradakshika gurus, and I go over this in my mind. I'm walking in 1973 on the streets in London, in Oxford, and I I walk into Prabhu Vishnu Maharaj, whose parents actually lived in Oxford, who was from Ireland. And he sold me a ticket to the program they were having that night. So Vatma Pradakshika Guru, he was the first one. Then when I went to the program, Janananda Maharaj took care of me, sat me down and was very warm and affectionate. And he also helped me when I joined the temple. He was like my older brother. He's now initiating guru and preaching, especially in France. He's very attached to helping in France. Then the third person who preached to me and sold me a book, the Ishopanishad, was Bhumadev Prabhu. Bhumadev Prabhu now is in Detroit, Ann Arbor, that part of the world. And I actually met him when I went there. We had prasad together and I thanked him. Then the fourth devotee I ever met was Devadama, because I was going to the temple in London and he was standing on the street outside the temple giving out BTGs. So he was a very sensitive and introverted person and couldn't really go onto the main street. He was standing on a side street and I felt a little sorry for him, and I bought one BTG. I think already I had it, but I gave him a donation. And then I walked into the temple. Then the next devotee I met was Dhananjaya Prabhu, who's the cousin, or distant cousin of Bhakti Chaitanya Maharaj. So these are my Vatma Pradakshika gurus. And then the next one was Shyamasundar Prabhu, the original Shyamasundar. And I had to ask him whether I could stay in the temple that night. So these are like my Vatma Pradakshika gurus. And on a regular basis, I offer my respects to them, my pranam prayers. So then there's Chaita Guru, that's the Lord in the heart. So that's, of course, the super soul, Shiradakshai Vishnu. So there are two gurus, and then there are four, but there are actually more. There's Nam Guru. That is the person that gives you the holy name. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's Nam Guru was Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Then there's Diksha Guru, meaning, Diksha in this sense means Brahman initiation or Gayatri Mantra. So they can be different. They don't have to be the same. But we have our policy in ISKCON that the Guru who gives you first initiation, if he's still alive, gives you the second initiation. But actually, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta got from two different people. And then you have Sannyas Guru. So this is for men, of course. So I have my Sannyas Guru, His Holiness Niranjana Swami. Then it is said Bhajan Guru, who teaches you bhajan. So that would be Raganuga Guru. A little advanced for us. So many types of gurus. Even with the category of Siksha Guru, there are those, well, one category would be the six Goswamis, Srinivas Thakur, Shyamananda, Narottam. They're like Siksha Gurus. Then coming down to a spiritually lower level, although everything is absolute, the God brothers and the God sisters of our Guru. They're also considered or should be respected as Siksha Gurus. And then our own, we're mostly in ISKCON now, it's third generation. So it's, you take Siksha from a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. So that's another level of Siksha Guru. And then in the Canto 11 of Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 7, I think 22 or 28 Siksha Gurus are described, like water, like a mountain, Like the tree, we learn tolerance. So then there's a deeper understanding, Siksha Guru. So if the temple president comes and tells you to wipe the temple floor, that's an instruction. So he's your Siksha Guru in a broad sense, but he's not giving you specific instruction on how to traverse the stages of Bhajana Kriya, Anatana Vritti, Nishta Ruchi. So in a general sense, God brothers of one's guru or God sisters may be Siksha Guru, and you're willing to take their advice and instruction. But they may not know you. There may not be a specific personal relationship. So in that sense, that I'm talking about another type of Siksha Guru who really gets involved with you. So that first type of Siksha Guru would be occasional. We call it occasional. A sannyasi comes to South Africa, gives talk, you listen, you get enlivened, and then he goes away. So we can call that occasional. Then there is another type of Siksha Guru. When you go to school, you have teacher in grade 4. Is grade now?
Yes.
And he gets involved, or she, that teacher gets involved in helping you. But then you go to grade 5 and you have new teachers. So that's a Siksha Guru, but only for a certain limited time. So we could call it limited. Shiva Maharaj has described this in his book, Siksha, outside of ISKCON. So occasional and limited. And then he describes 2 other types of Siksha Gurus. Those who are committed and those who are non-committed. So those who are non-committed, they'll give you general instruction, but they're not particularly committed to your spiritual development and spiritual life. And they may believe that the institution itself should train you. And the institution, of course, is like a guru. And then there are other gurus who can act as Siksha Guru, Diksha Guru, who are very committed to their disciples in the sense that they're always praying for them, and even after liberation are concerned about them. So they personally may get involved. Of course, this whether you're committed or non-committed may depend on how many disciples you have. If you have thousands and thousands, how can you be personally involved in the lives of all of them? It becomes very difficult. Then you become more like an institutionalized guru. So this is another cause of contention or debate, that the main Siksha Guru should be the Diksha Guru. This is natural, because you have faith in the Diksha Guru, so he's giving instructions, so he should be the Siksha Guru. But many times, our Diksha Gurus are so busy with administration, many of them are GBC members, and they may also leave their bodies, and they may be ill. And as Prabhupada has written also, when the Guru becomes older, sometimes he wants to do Niyajan Bhajan, Niprichastam, go to a solitary place and just do bhajan, and leave the preaching more to his disciples. So for different reasons, the Diksha Guru may not be the main Siksha Guru. But a devotee should always take shelter, and we should always take advice and guidance from those who are senior. So one fault that I see within our ISKCON mission is that we have emphasized the importance of Diksha Guru, and we have the Vyasa Puja ceremonies. Of course, it's been scaled down from what it was 30 years ago. Sometimes the Vyasa Puja book is published, and Guru is worshipped. So that's established, but that's Diksha Guru, but not Siksha Guru. There's a degree of complacency when it comes to respecting and taking advice from the Guru's God brothers and the Guru's God sisters. They shouldn't be minimized. They should also be deeply respected. And if we feel attracted to a particular mood from a particular senior devotee, then we can take advice and guidance, and that person can become our Siksha Guru. Siksha Guru is something like uncle. In the extended family in India, the boy may want to get married, the girl may want to get married, but that boy doesn't approach the father because there's too much reverence, but will approach a favorite uncle and express to that favorite uncle, I'd like to get married to this girl, and vice versa. A girl may also express this to an auntie. So Siksha Guru is something like this. And respect is always there, but there can be a degree of intimacy. And Rupa Goswami has described Vishvambara Guru Seva. One should serve Guru with intimacy. So Guru is plural. Always remember, Guru is plural. It's not one. Krishna's mercy, Lord Chaitanya's mercy, and Srila Prabhupada's mercy, Kripa. It can come through their representatives. So there are many bona fide disciples of Srila Prabhupada, ladies and men, that one can approach in a very humble way, seek shelter, and serve. You really try to serve them. So the idea that only my guru and no one else is actually a Kanishta concept and is somewhat neophyte. We give the example that from a distance you look at the Himalaya mountains and you just see one mountain, the Himalayas, Mount Everest. You go closer and then you see other peaks. There are a number of peaks. You go even closer and you see more. So when one is a little distant from Krishna, you just see Krishna. You don't see Radharani, Lalita, Vishaka. You don't see Brinda Devi, Nandamukhi. You don't see the cowherd boys. You don't see Vrindavan. From a distance, you see Guru. You just see Guru by himself. You don't see others around him, his advanced disciples. You don't really recognize his god brothers or god sisters, or if you do, you just give some token respect. Token respect. So this is not the philosophy. Prabhupada's mercy can come through so many. So we should be willing to take that mercy. So guru-tattva is a very deep and very complex subject. And as we advance, we'll begin to understand more. So for today, that's all I'm talking about, Guru. Please meditate on this carefully. Vanchakalpa Tirupyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.